Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review. Yeah, as you can see, I drink quicker than I do the dishes and had that accident half an hour ago with the Van Steenbergen advent calendar. So I had to take in another glass, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with using a teakhoek glass. But that being said, let's go for number 20 in Mr. Hub's Space Beer Case. I am very curious what he has in store for us. And, oh, it is the last one of this first half. Oh, again, very, very stuck. I'll tell you one thing, in Mr. Hub's beer calendar, there will never be a beer that falls out or gets lost. Oh, okay, first off, I see, in my humble opinion, a relatively ugly can, but it's just because it's so busy and so colorful. But despite that, it looks quite cool. I see Mr. Hub's logo, so it is another dedicated collaboration. And I also see Nepo Brewing, N-E-P-O Brewing. I honestly have never heard of Nepo or Nepo Brewing. I am very curious whether that comes from nepotism, maybe it's a father and son brewery thing, but I don't know. And it is called Crazy Lines, and that might explain all these lines on the can. Crazy Lines number 66, Big Buddy. It is not just a beer, it's the beer. Now, we'll see about that in a minute. And it is a Pomelo Juicy IPA. And I see 5.9% ABV, but it is written with ALK, from alcohol, but ALK. And I see OBJ as an abbreviation. So I'm guessing this is not Dutch, but at least German or maybe Scandinavian, maybe Eastern Europe. Oh, Slavic. It's Polish. In that case, I really don't have any idea what Nepo Brewing stands for. Oh, and it's really all in Polish? Oh no, okay. Thank God they have an English translation for one part. I know one word, piwo, which is beer in Polish. Now, one of my best friends is Polish, and maybe I should ask her for a translation, but nonetheless, let's try. Crazy Line Series, intense hoppy and no compromise. Ingredients: water, barley malt, wheat malt, oat flakes, wheat flakes, pomelo, juice and peel, hops and yeast. Beer, pale, unfiltered and pasteurized. And I said and pasteurized, not unpasteurized. Bitterness, 50%. ABV, 5.9%. Don't drink and drive, and don't drink while pregnant. Okay, thanks for the good advice. That all being said, I am curious for this beer. Now, I have recently learned that pomelo is not just a grapefruit, but it is family of the grapefruit, but it is an entirely different fruit, apparently. However, okay, lovely, hazy, straw yellow, quite dense beer. I do see a lot of carbon dioxide, and despite not having a lot of foam, it looks okay, medium density foam, which means it's gonna dissipate quickly as well, but looks okay. Oh, that is absolutely pomelo. It smells a bit hoppy, it smells a bit grapefruity, and it smells 100% pomelo. Now, fun fact, when I was about 10 years old, we had this thing called Fanta Pomelo, and that is when Fanta started with their Welcome to the World series, and pomelo was a great hit as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, they quit making it, or they quit selling it here in Belgium. But nonetheless, I liked pomelo. I think the only pomelo that we still can find here ever so often is some imported pink pomelo. But I like the original better. However, yeah, this is hugely aromatic. Very nice. So let's have a taste. Okay, first off, like I said a few days ago, having a 5.9% IPA is a very welcome change from having all these 9 and 10%ers that we've had this week or the past few weeks. However, this tastes, the mouthfeel is very thin, very watery. The carbonation in this beer is very low, and it comes to a point that it's more acidic than bubbly, which sounds weird, I know, but carbon dioxide is in fact, yeah, sort of an acid or an acidic gas, and it can have, in small doses, it can have an acidic idea, an acidic feeling. That doesn't mean that this beer has a very low pH level, but it does appear so, and mainly in combination with a very low carbonation level and that pomelo, because pomelo is a citrus fruit, and it is a bit grapefruit-like, but it's bitter and sour at the same time, and also very aromatic. But in this case, 1 and 1 makes 2, and that carbon dioxide acid and that pomelo acidic citrus fruit appears to be slightly acidic. Nonetheless, quite okay, quite pleasant taste. The mouthfeel is a bit off because it's so thin and watery, but the taste is actually spot on. I think it's mainly in the wording here. They call it a pomelo juicy IPA. They don't call it a whatever the hubble the puck hazy New England IPA or anything. No, they just call it a juicy IPA, a pomelo juicy IPA. And I think by adding the peel, you get the bitterness and the aroma, but by adding the juice, you get the quote unquote problem with this. Well, acidity isn't a problem, but with this, let's say, lack of carbon dioxide. I think after fermentation, this beer was decently saturated, and by adding the juice, you actually thinned it out. And that is why the carbonation levels are so low. So if they had any means of carbonating this a bit more, I think this would score way higher, because that is a very important component in this kinds of beers. Nonetheless, the flavor is so spot on, so lovely. Yeah, I would love to have a bit heavier carbonated version of this, or maybe even a bit heavier. Like, let's say we add half a gram of carbon dioxide and maybe 1 or 1.5% of alcohol, so we get a 7 or 7.5% and decently carbonated version of this beer. Let's call it a bigger buddy then. That would be awesome. But nonetheless, this is already pretty okay. Actually, the only remark that I have is the lack of carbonation. And that is a shame. On the other hand, this is a beer that tastes to me like it's suitable for a myriad of beer cocktails. And when making cocktails, it's actually a plus to have less carbon dioxide. And everything that you lack in carbon dioxide, you can add with soda water or something. So, yeah, this beer does have potential. So, let's score it. Let's keep it decent and above average. Let's call it a 3.5. Yeah, that is, as you guys know, my go-to score for a decent but not really finished kind of beer. Am I saying that right? Yeah, 3.5 sounds about right. Okay, guys, that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching again. Yeah, if you feel in a giving mood, share my video or some videos with friends. Let's see if we can get to 250 subscribers until New Year, or before New Year. If you guys like this particular video, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or remarks. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever I upload something. And yeah, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Cheers.